Hey everyone, and welcome to the Weekly Marketer Podcast. Every single week, we interview deep dive experts in one of the many fields of marketing to drop huge knowledge bombs from the best of the best and teach you how to take your marketing skills to the next level. This is episode 17, and I'm sitting with Matt Smith, aka Snapchat Matt, who is an expert Snapchat marketer and super affiliate who made $211,000 in 92 days. He spent over $500,000 in Snapchat ads and is here to teach you the secrets of how not to just compete on Snapchat, but thrive. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so this is interesting, right? I've been tacitly aware of Snapchat marketing for a while, and I haven't dove into it at all. How'd you get started in Snapchat marketing?
Yeah. So Snapchat is like this, there's just so many misconceptions about it, myself included. I think, I first heard about Snapchat marketing when it came out in late 2017, but I just kind of wrote it off right away. Like, oh, it's just a bunch of teenagers. They don't have any money. They don't want to buy. Basically it's just a dick pic app is what, my thoughts were. And like, why would I want to advertise on that? And, I was thriving with Facebook ads. So I got into Facebook ads 2 years ago. And when was it? Like sometime last year in like around March, April, when the whole fake news thing started to become an issue. And Facebook really just started cracking down on any affiliate marketers using redirect links. Like, obviously as affiliate marketer, we don't own the domain. We don't own the business that we're advertising for. That's one of the benefits I like about it. However, to Facebook, it became more clear to me that they just didn't like our business model anymore. And like we needed to change it up. So I really just started looking for what's next. What am I good at? And I'm good at making videos. That was something I was able to teach myself, and to make these short videos. Okay, well, what's another video social media platform? Snapchat. It seemed like a really good natural fit for what I was trying to go for. I do a lot of lead generation, affiliate marketing, and that was why I went over to Snapchat.
That's incredible. So I guess taking a step back, how did you kind of get started in marketing in general? How long have you been doing marketing? You said you've been doing Facebook ads, or you did Facebook ads 2 years ago, right before like the kind of apocalypse with that. And not to say that Facebook ads are irrelevant by any means, but it's kind of changed a lot in the last year and a half, 2 years. So how'd you get started in marketing in general? And, you kind of mentioned video and stuff. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So I was working, it's a traditional story. I feel like, working a boring corporate job. And it was true though. I was working like human resources, and I don't know, I had a friend who was, I saw what he was doing with marketing, and, I always just kind of wrote it off like internet marketers and affiliate marketing. Like, oh, it just seems too scammy. Like it's something for like single dudes to do. Like they're out traveling around, and I see them in front of like these cars, like everybody's first like initial thing into affiliate marketing is kind of like the Tai Lopez and Gary V's of the world, and it didn't seem like it was for me, But I don't know. I had my first baby, and she's 2 years old now. So like, I think that just really changed something in me, where I really just knew that I didn't want to go. I looked at like my life in the next like 30, 40 years, and just like, shit, man, like I can't do this. Like I can't go into this office in the morning. I can't, like it didn't fit me. I wasn't happy there. So this just seemed like a really great fit for being able to use some of my psychology background and to just kind of give me that lifestyle that I was desiring.
That's actually really cool, and like not dissimilar, right? I've been doing my own thing for a while, but my wife we had our kid, and who's 3 months old, and she was like, fuck, I got to figure something out. Like, I can't keep doing this forever. It's kind of crazy how much that does change it. But yeah, so, that's a really interesting story. So you're kind of like doing HR, which is possibly the exact opposite of marketing. and like, I mean, it's jockeying with like accounting for like the, and so you're doing that, and then you're kind of moonlighting. And so what's kind of your first foray into affiliate marketing? Do you like go sign up for like one of the big networks? Like how'd you get started? Because I get a lot of people asking about affiliate marketing, and it's not something that I've done extensively, so it's always curious to kind of learn from you super affiliates that have kind of like really crushed it and made it work. So how did you get started and that whole thing?
I just started scouring YouTube, man. Like the main things that I feel like I needed to learn were copywriting, and I needed to learn the technical aspect of how do I get up a site. But I quickly found that this is something that I could outsource easily. But the copywriting was big for me because I was coming from an academic environment, writing really long sentences, and I didn't know how to communicate on the internet. I just needed some fine tuning with my copywriting skills. So I ended up signing up for one of the big networks, A4D, out there. And I found like my first offer was for funeral insurance in the UK. So people prepay their funerals basically, and I'm gathering leads for these people, for these companies. So I remember, oh man, it was like a month or two in, like after like a month of just like really diving and reading like everything I could about affiliate marketing, lead generation. I launched the campaign, and I had like, it was like around the 4th of July 2 years ago. And I remember like everyone always remembers their first $1,000 profit day for whatever reason. But I remember I had that while I was at like my job and stuff. And I just got pulled into a meeting by my boss, and she was like, "Oh, Matt, I don't feel like your head's really in the game here.
You're right.
You're not gonna yeah. And she's like, you're not gonna have a good future in this. You got to think about your future." And I'm just like, oh man, I wish I could just change, just show you what I've been doing on company time. And, like, it's just a fun moment. And now, I mean, it's a different, it's the same thing. You're still trying to make money every day, but it's cool to transition into something where it's just a lot easier now. Like it really does get a lot easier with repetition and just continuing to work those muscles.
Right. No, that's incredible. It's like, you're not going to have a bright future here. You're right. Like, just absolutely. Yeah, no, it's kind of like, it's a really, it's a topic that I don't get into too much because it's not like directly marketing related. It's more like kind of pan entrepreneurship stuff. And I'm not trying to be like Gary Vee, no disrespect, but like, not trying to just be like a hustle guy or anything. And it is an interesting thing though, how freeing it is when you like do something that's all you, and then you make a bunch of money, and you suddenly like this connection in your brain that was so solidified that's like you work for other people, they pay you money, that like just snaps, and you realize that you can do it yourself, and that like all of the things that like, we're from like kind of a similar area, right? I'm from like the Chicagoland area growing up, and like you're from the Midwest too. And like, yeah, I think it's like part of the culture that it's very ingrained that like success is working for somebody else, kind of moving up the ranks, getting like third party validation. And then you just do it yourself once, and you just get a taste, and you realize that it's all bullshit. And it's such a like liberating feeling. It's also a little terrifying, but like liberating at the same time, at least for me. I don't know if you felt that way.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it on the nail on the head there. I mean, it really just highlights for me, like what I remember is the support that you have around us. And it sounds like you have your wife and family that gave you support, and you really just need that, especially from the people close to you, because everyone is like, how do I get started? And the biggest thing is taking that risk, taking the first plunge where you're putting your first ad dollars or your first ad spend into these networks and platforms. And yeah, man, I mean, like it really easily could have been, my wife could have been like, hey, like you just had a kid, like we can't afford for you just to like leave your job for some entrepreneurial dream. And I don't know if you had something like that too, but it's huge to have that support.
I kind of like started backwards, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying. I like had like job offers I turned down and tried to do like a tech startup, and they were right. I failed hard. But then like my like figuring it out in between thing was I picked up Facebook ads in like 2012. And I've been kind of riding that since, right? So as the tech company was kind of like crashing and burning, I had like played around with Facebook ads, and I was like, all right, well, my friends need help with this, so I'll like freelance and I'll go get a real job and whatever. And then kind of went from there. So it's I kind of have a weird journey, but then again, I'm kind of one of those leap before you look kind of guys anyways. So
Yeah, man, that's good. I mean, and you have such a valuable skill. We all do, like as marketers, like that's everybody needs leads, especially online.
yeah, no, it's true. Absolutely. So like, as you know, I kind of like focus down on just doing like lawyer leads, right? It's an interesting thing. You don't realize kind of how, e-com businesses and things like that, nothing, no disrespect. E-commerce businesses and stuff, they have so much like flair and flash online. It's like everybody's kind of like, I'm going to start a drop shipping from my dorm room and be a billionaire, like that sort of thing, right? Like I see a lot of stuff like that. And like, but you don't realize, you just go outside, you get out of like the internet bubble a little bit, and you realize like most of the economy is mechanics and lawyers and accountants and like services, like service-based businesses, local service-based businesses. And how do those companies thrive? Lead generation, 100%. So there's this whole world that's like maybe a little less sexy than like, I don't even know if it's less sexy, to be honest. Like I love doing lead generation. I think it's like super fun, but there's this whole world though that like seems to get passed over in like the internet marketing communities where everybody's trying to do an e-com, and you're just like, no, like there's like the landscaper down the street has so much money to spend if you can bring them quality leads. Like, and to me, money is the most sexy, but
Well, people make these distinctions between lead gen and e-com, but I really think that there's so much in common with them too. Like I get a lot of questions like, well, with Snapchat, I see you making it work for lead gen, but will it work for e-com? Yes, man. Like the only difference is I'm getting people to call a phone or fill out a form to enter their info, and you're getting someone to pull out their credit card. You're both directing customers to do something. So I mean, to me, there's more similarities. It's kind of funny to see how we divide ourselves into these camps now, though.
That's fair. No, that's totally fair, right? Like execution wise, I totally agree. I was just kind of talking more about like the culture of it, like the mystique around it. It seems like to me, but that might just say more about my own personal bias and like the, bubbles that I live in than anything else.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Like, the garlic peelers and fidget spinners and stuff that people drop ship, like there's always going to be a plumber. There's always going to be a real estate agent that is going to need more calls. So yeah, I see your point, man.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're as bad at doing your books as I am, you're definitely going to need an accountant forever. So, okay. So you've signed up for like a big network, right? Like if I was like getting into it today, I was like, all right, I listened to the podcast. I've heard the good word. I want to get into affiliate marketing, and I'm interested in Snapchat. How would you start from zero today, knowing what you know? Like, what would you do if you were like, I want to get in?
Yeah. So, man, it's cliche, but I honestly like having a mentor early on can open up so many doors for you, because these networks like Max Bounty, A4D, Evo Leads, Giddy Up, they're great, but like they're sometimes getting flooded by a lot of people, and just to have somebody to vouch for you in the beginning to get kind of your foot in the door and to coach you along about how you negotiate an offer is so helpful. And so, let me get into a little bit about how you would negotiate an offer with these networks. So you go and you sign up for these affiliate networks or brokers. And one good way to find a good network is a site called offervault.com. You're able just to search for different offers and filter by payout and filter by network, and you can check the network's reviews. And really what I'm looking for is, for me, if I'm starting out, it's easier for me to do lead gen and like, something that's like between like a $10 to $40 payout versus doing e-com. It just takes a little bit more work to sell something. So if you're just starting out with marketing, I highly recommend going with lead gen. And like you sign up for these networks and you find an offer, and like this is difficult even for me sometimes, but I kind of know what works, and what I like are offers that are a huge pain point that affect a large amount of people in the world. Because I can do local lead gen. There's a lot of money to be made in local lead gen, but if I'm going to put my ad spend into something and start a new offer, I want something that I can scale up infinitely, and so stuff that's like a big pain point for me is money. And I feel like especially especially in the US and everywhere. Everyone's thinking about money. They're thinking about, how am I going to get ahead? Am I in too much debt? Do I need to declare bankruptcy? Is my credit good enough? Money just kind of rules the world for a lot of people. And so it's easy then to create ads that that pick at this pain point of money. Like I would select something like that and then just really do as much research as I can. And by research, what I'm doing is I'm going and I'm searching on forums. Like Reddit is a great forum for, finding out how people are talking about this problem. You want to really just get inside the head of your user or customer. And this is any marketing. But I'm searching on Google for like, for instance, like if I'm doing like a credit repair offer, I'm searching for like credit repair help and forum. And I've just, I've found if you can use your customers or users' language in your landing page and your advertisements, it builds so much rapport with them, and you get so much more trust that it really can just explode your profits when you do that.
That's interesting. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
Yeah. So, the tip, when I first started advertising, for those funeral plans, I looked around at a lot of the research and, other advertisements. And, I went in with my first ads of like, did you know you could save $400 on your funeral if you prepay it in installments, with blah, blah, blah company. And I had horrible results. I was losing money and I was like, this affiliate marketing is a joke. It doesn't work. Then I started really going deeper into that. So I went at like the pain point of like a funeral, like what are people thinking of when they want to prepay for their funeral? And it's the not wanting to be a burden on your family. It's about taking care of your family before you leave. And I switched up my ad copy to write things about relieve the burden on your family by prepaying your funeral today. And even just that, like, immediately shot up my profit. I just stopped focusing on like the numbers and like the, and I really just wanted the emotion behind it and the emotion that people were feeling. And, my advertisement spoke to that too.
That's incredible. Yeah, I think that, in the kind of performance marketing world, a lot of people do eschew customer empathy. They don't focus on it enough, in my opinion, and instead kind of double down on just more numbers, more volume, that sort of thing, right? And, it seems like your experience is that is actually the most important part, is being empathetic, understanding the pain point, writing great copy and creative to get people to click and get excited and actually like purchase. Yeah, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, my mind is kind of data oriented, and that's what makes me a good media buyer. But for those of us that are more the science focused and data oriented, like you really got to learn how to write emotional copy rather than just selling like the facts and the figures. And once you do, I mean, that's a great combo if you can have both.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of taking a little bit of a step back, where do you see kind of the affiliate world moving? Do you see it getting bigger, smaller, changing? What's the macro of the world of the affiliate becoming?
Yeah, so, I attend a lot of masterminds and a lot of these conferences of affiliate marketers. And, like, I see two common themes come up. And I would say the first one is the black hat versus white hat, and just how the changes from Facebook, the different regulations that may be coming from, like against these tech companies. I really feel like that's going to force a lot of black hats, always going to be there, but I don't think that's growing. I think it's really going to force people into into more of like the being just compliant. And I think that people that continue to try to, even on Snapchat's a little bit looser policy than Facebook. And I've seen a lot of people jump from Facebook trying to make it work on Snap. And Snap's still going to, they're going to be cracking down. They're, like, this is how, like, they're going to get it from, regulation, but then this is just the trajectory of a lot of ad platforms. When they first open up, they're happy to accept everyone's money, and then slowly it becomes more branded and more big advertisers. So I think, like, and that's the second thing too. The second theme is you need to own the product and the brand that you're promoting. So if you're an affiliate lead gen company like myself that generates lots of leads, I'm a lead gen company, and like, I need to brand myself as such rather than trying to pose as like a, finance dog, watch, like, or some kind of, fake news type of site, like it's just not going to work anymore. You really got to get back to, being branded and being compliant.
No, that's fascinating. So you're saying that you think the future is kind of like being an affiliate, obviously, but like owning like a legit brand in the affiliate space. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like, so like an actual trusted partner that maybe offers a couple of different affiliate offers as to how they make their money. So like almost like as like a, I don't know, like almost like a points guy sort of thing. Is that like a fair comparison?
Yeah, a points guy is a good one. There's Pop Sugar does a lot of stuff too, where the Penny Hoarder, these sites that are finance based, and then they'll run a few affiliate offers. But I think it's a huge theme going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like that. So, kind of thinking at the macro level still, but switching over, kind of where have you seen the trajectory of Snapchat specifically going? Because I don't want to just focus just on affiliate, although that's crazy interesting to me and to my listeners. But Snapchat, kind of where has that been going and things like that? Because Snapchat, the network, I mean, they're like kind of stalled on user numbers. I mean, they still have a massive amount of users, and obviously they're a public company and all that, but they've kind of stalled. So what do you see the future, of that being?
Snapchat actually, their stock just like rose 30% in their last earnings report because they reported they didn't lose users, which shows just how negative the view was of Snapchat. So like they've been at like 182 million users, daily users, for about like 3 quarters now, almost like a year. And like their official response was, well, we haven't kept up with their Android users. And it's kind of true. The Android app is really shitty compared to the iOS app.
Yeah, I'm an Android user, and that's true.
Yeah, same here. And it's they've made a commitment to fixing it this year, and I really think that's going to help them gain traction with like less developed countries and the lower income groups. And honestly, that's where I feel like Snapchat is they kind of got caught with their pants down when Instagram stories copied them. Like they're never going to admit that that's why their users plateaued, but that's a huge reason. And Instagram stories is growing and it's doing really well, but there still is like there's such a core users of Snapchat that I feel like are always going to be there, because Snapchat has this for its advantage in that it's seen as more of a private messaging platform. There's no statuses, there's no people liking different things. Everything, it's built with the disappearing in mind. That's why so many people do well, advertisers do well on Snap, is because people are more apt to take out their credit card. They're not worried about, well, I would never buy anything off this, because Snapchat is like this walled garden for a lot of people. Like they see it as very personal. It's them. This is where I talk with my friends. So I really think that Snap has that going for itself in a macro level, and that it's going to avoid a lot of the upcoming regulation that's going to hit the Googles and Facebooks of the world, where they just have so much public data. Snapchat doesn't really have a lot of data. They just buy it from third parties.
So one of the things that I think that Snapchat might have going it too, and I say this not necessarily as a marketer, but as like a consumer and somebody that's like generally aware of kind of how these things like work, is Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that do a lot of content prioritization and things like that. And it seems like Snapchat doesn't, right? Fundamentally, they're not out there taking down whatever you're sharing and things like I mean, obviously like illegal stuff they are, but like, they're oftentimes not like prioritizing different kinds of content and things like that, where a lot of people have been saying like Facebook and Twitter are kind of like acting like publishers and stuff like that, which is kind of more. And I think Snapchat kind of avoids a lot of those issues as well, which might give them a little bit more durability, legally speaking.
Yeah, it's not seen as a news source.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's fundamentally kind of like a messenger sort of platform, right? It's person to person. So, no, that's really interesting. So, if you were to, and I asked if you were going to start as an affiliate today, how would you do it? If you were going to start as a Snapchat advertiser today, how would you go about that? How would you kind of dip your toes there?
Yeah, so I would look at my creative, number one, and and let's look at my business. Is it make sense for me to advertise on Snapchat? So the core demographic of Snapchat is ages 13 to 34. There's something like 41% of all, people between 13 and 25, like all 13 to 25 year olds in America, there's 41% of them are on Snapchat every day. So the millennial audience, it's so huge on Snap. Not to say you can't make, if your products are tailored for 35 plus, you can definitely make that work. In fact, like a lot of my offers are 35 plus. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars targeting these people. Like half of all new users are actually over the age of 25 on Snapchat, and then it's quickly maturing. As the parents want to join, the Snapchat network. And well, what are my kids doing on that network? I keep seeing them on Snap, and and the kids that grew up with Snapchat, they're getting older. So I would definitely look at my offer and see if it's going to be viable on that network. And I would want a large chunk of my customers to fall in that 35 and under crowd. I wouldn't advertise funeral plans on Snapchat. And I would look at my creative too, like it's a lot of the stuff on Facebook, natives, Google, this stuff does well. It's long advertorials, long landing pages, long VSLs. That does not work on Snapchat. It's such a frantic place to be. And if I look at my stats on my pages, and the bounce rates are just crazy. Like if I can keep like half of my people from, 50% of them aren't bouncing within like 10 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, this is this is a winner, and you need to tailor your content to be frantic. Like you only have 10 seconds in an ad, like 10 seconds or less. And honestly, people's attention, my average view time, a lot of my ads are between like 2 and 4 seconds. So no more than 6 seconds with your ad, getting your message out immediately, no more than 3 sentences on my ad. This is just such a huge part of making it work on Snap for your business.
No, that's interesting. Actually, we have a lot of similar conversations about kind of Instagram. So like, even on my successful campaigns where I might be running a 30-second ad, right? My average view time's 3. Because you have like 1-2 seconds tops to grab somebody's attention, right? Something really dramatic out of the gate. And so, yeah, that's an interesting kind of lesson kind of learned there. So, kind of seeing the Snapchat world, seeing the whole affiliate world as well, and things like that. And then Snapchat as it relates to like lead generation and stuff. What are some things that you see people doing that you just hate, you just wish would go away? And then what are some things that you're seeing that people are doing that like you think are absolutely crushing it and you want to see more of, you think would make more marketers successful?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I hate is the rip and run mentality of a lot of affiliate marketers. A lot of people just copy your stuff, like they go on and they just like copy it word for word, and they're like, well, this works. I'm just going to use this and take it into a new territory. And it's just like, you can do that, man, but like, that's not going to have, you're not going to have staying power. These are the same people that when suddenly, there's an algorithm change, you're like, well, what happened? Like, well, I don't know what like, it's because you didn't learn. You need to keep staying ahead of the curve, and that's what's going to make someone successful is, how do you do something that no one else is doing, or use an angle that no one else is using, and make it your own? So I see 2 ways on Snapchat. There's 2 new ad types that are really successful for me so far, and that is story ads and collection ads. And so these are just like there's different placements within Snapchat where you're able to be entered into a brand new auction within their platform and just come up with some like really cool creative ideas. I mean, the collection is kind of equal to the carousel ad on Facebook. So yeah, I mean, like I really just think being creative, staying ahead of the curve is really good. And I really hope that people just stop the copying mentality and, like allowing it. I think it's gonna have to go around the wayside.
Right. Absolutely. I think you're right too, just kind of tying that back in, like actually be intentional with building a brand, actually be intentional with growing a brand, right? Because like if you are able to become like a points guy or like a Pop Sugar or something like that, like that's probably the ultimate goal, right? Like get like a brand in and of itself that people actually trust enough to like come and like consume content and then like buy affiliate offers. And obviously like, you know, running paid affiliate offers is awesome. And that's probably always part of the mix. But like, you know, if you can build like a trusted brand in and of itself, you know, how much better is that conversion rate going to be? How much, you know, are you going to start to actually get organic traffic and things like that too? You know, is that kind of a consideration? Is that kind of a fair read?
Well, it's an asset too that you're building. You know, like there's tons of old media companies that would love to buy somebody like Pop Sugar and that have bought, you know, these media companies, these smaller publishers. And, you know, like I get caught up on it. You know, when I first started, there's a lot of big short-term money in affiliate marketing, but you need to just have like that long mindset and really see what do you want to build and what is, you know, how can you stay in this game long term?
Right. Absolutely. Well, Matt, this has been absolutely incredible. I mean, my eyes are open. I've been low key like signing up for like e-local offers on the background while we've been talking. I'm kidding. But yeah, so no, this has been absolutely incredible. Really appreciate your time and your expertise. You know, thank you so much for joining us. You know, if you're out there listening, this is easily the best affiliate episode I've had. And like, you know, Snapchat marketing, something that like I shamefully like had been like, I don't know, maybe that's all right. And like now I'm kind of thinking like, you know, maybe I should give that a second look. You've kind of sold me on it. So really appreciate your time again. You know, I always give the kind of opportunity for my guest at the end here to kind of pitch whatever they want. So if you have like a quick pitch, and I've gotten everything from businesses to courses to charities to all sorts of stuff. So go ahead and just have at it.
Yeah, so I really am passionate about helping people learn Snapchat. We have a free Facebook group, Snapvertising, and I post a ton of free content on there just to help people transition away from whatever ad platform they're on. And you know, then we have the course. We have the course snapvertising.io that just launched, and it's really just a step-by-step guide of how everything I've done, you know, everything from getting set up to media buying, creative, to staying compliant, everything I've done basically to, you know, make it 400 or spend $400,000+ on Snapchat. So snapvertising.io, snapvertising.io, or the free Facebook group. That's a great place to reach me. And, you know, I'm constantly in there.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just joined the group. So, all right. Well, yeah, if you want to learn from the best, learn how to like really crush it on Snapchat, I highly suggest that you check the group out and potentially the course as well. Matt, thank you so much again. Truly appreciate your time.
Dude, anytime, Jeremy. I'd love to come back. It was great talking with you.
Lovely. All right, everybody out there listening, take this, run with it, crush it on Snapchat, and happy marketing, everybody.